lose about 1,000 gallons per week to evaporation in the heat of the summer, is what I've calculated. So I just rerouted my shower into my pond, which is illegal in South Carolina to use your gray water in the landscape, but I rerouted it. And that will make up for almost half of what I'm losing from evaporation in my pond. I've calculated about 20 gallons per person per shower. So if we have 3 people in the house taking 3 showers a day, that would be 60 gallons a day we could put back into the system. And then of course my kitchen water, which is dirtier, I'm rerouting that through a branch drain gray water system back into the landscape, where it'll irrigate plants instead of going into the pond, because it's a little bit dirtier. I don't want to get grease and stuff into the pond.
Nice.
Water coming off the roof hits that liner and flows into the pond. But it goes through the it's called the recirculating aquaculture system. So the water comes out from the grow-out pond, gets pulled out of the grow-out pond, and then goes through this biofilter channel, which is just a gravel-filled channel, and then spills over into the settling pond right there. And the biofilter channel, there's bacteria that live on the rocks or the surface of your biofilter media. Add some mussels too, but there's a bunch of floating plants, and that will remove a lot of the pollutants. And then it flows down the waterfall to aerate it and into the grow-out pond over here.
Can you explain to me, Shawn, the benefits of having an aquaculture system in your backyard?
Yeah, so I put it on the south side of the house. I'm getting reflection in the wintertime off the pond area and onto the house, so I get more solar heat, solar sunlight in the wintertime, and therefore more heat in the wintertime in and around my house. It's also a solar storage system, storing that heat in the water, then re-radiates it at night. So I get it's about 8 degrees warmer here in the wintertime. Also heat the time. It's a great, easy place to grow food. Fish are incredibly easy. They require very little food inputs, at least tilapia do. The feed to biomass conversion is very efficient. So the amount of food you have to give them, and the amount of biomass that they create from that food is very efficient, because basically they're floating. They don't have to worry about gravity. They don't have to fight gravity all day. So it doesn't take them very much energy to get bigger. And then you don't have to worry about putting them away like the chickens. You've got to put away at night or take out in the morning. I find that chickens are a lot more work, a lot more complicated than just tilapia. You put them in the pond and they do their stuff, and then you harvest them when they're big enough to harvest.
How long does that usually take?
Well, I put the tilapia in the spring, and then I harvest them all in the fall before it gets too cold. I think I've missed a few last year, and they popped up in about January. So I need to get them all out of there by January. Last year I just used a cast net and fish and hook, fish line to get them out. This year I'm going to use a seine and just scoop them all out at once, and then maybe have a big party and process them and
eat them up,
feast and freeze.
Okay, cool. So what other kind of fish do you have in there besides tilapia?
Well, you put the tilapia in the spring, and then you need to put in some bass, some baby bass, and they basically will control any babies that the tilapia make. The tilapia are going to reproduce like crazy, make babies, and if you allow them to do that, the babies will grow up and they'll all compete for food and nutrients, and you'll have a whole bunch of small fish. So you put the bass in, small bass in, shortly after you put the tilapia in, and they will eat the baby tilapia and prevent your pond from getting overpopulated. What I'm going to do next year is I'm going to actually attach a screen to that bridge right there and scare all the bass out of this area on that side of the screen, bass out of this area on that side of the screen, and then put the tilapia, scare all the bass out of this area on that side of the screen, and then put the tilapia in this small area, grow them out to about 4 inches until they're too big for the bass to eat, and then release them into the rest of the pond. To eat, and then release them into the rest of the pond. once they get big enough. And that way I won't have to worry about any leftover bass in the pond, because I had that problem this year. I didn't get all the bass out, and I put the tilapia in there, and it was just a bunch of expensive food for the bass, and then I had to get the bass out very quickly before they ate all my tilapia. So it's a complete learning process. This is, the system's not even 2 years old right now, and constantly tweaking and refining the system.
And what do you have? Is there anything in there now?
Oh yeah, I have about 100 tilapia. The bass reproduced on their own, so I've got a bunch of baby bass in there. Controlling the tilapia recruitment, tilapia babies. And there's also some crayfish in there. And I want to add some catfish eventually, because they can coexist without production going down very much.
And they feed pretty much off the bottom, right?
Yeah, bottom feeders, and they'll eat any leftover food that the tilapia haven't finished. So they'll work real well in the system. They basically don't interfere with each other and decrease yields when you've got catfish working with the tilapia. And I need to add some mussels, freshwater mussels, to the system, to the vegetated waterway. Mussels like fast-moving water that's very nutrient-filled, and that's exactly what's going on in that area. I'm going to take the water hyacinth out, and I'm going to replace it with floating hydroponic trays. They basically float on top of the water. You grow your vegetables in them, and your vegetables absorb the nutrients out of the water, so they help filter the water for you. You never have to worry about watering or fertilizing your veggies at that point. So it's aquaponics, it's called. Aquaculture and hydroponics mixed together.
Nice.
You hold the bucket.
So here we are today, and it's really a beautiful day, and we thank Shawn for inviting us into his home and providing us with an opportunity to see a system at work. Thank you, Shawn.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Those are fish. Look behind you. See, there's fishes and those fishes behind you. Look. Those, what are they called?
You tell me.
Those are called fish. And they're really, really, really big. Some are like this small. And some are like this small. And some are like this big.
That's your handle of it. Those are called tiny sea urchins. So just hold on to a minute, just look around your pockets.
We last night about sea things and
Good, didn't it?
I know.
It's all white.
We can because we can touch the dirt off. Why we can't hold them? That looks cute.
Earth's many fragile marine ecosystems remind us that we have a human responsibility to help preserve other species.